Everything is changing in the vaporizer world at a very fast pace. People are moving away from smoking and into vaping. This is where Sasha Robinson and Mark Williams come in.
Here it is. This is, I guess, the Firefly'ers building. This is where the magic happens. Let's go check them out. Hi. Look.
Hi.
I'm,
hello again.
How you doing? I'm Gabriel.
Nice to meet you, Gabriel. I'm
Nice
Mark.
to meet you. This is my cameraman, Justin.
Hi, Justin. Nice to meet you. Come on in.
Yeah. I know. I've got more costumes this year.
Morning. Yeah, I know. Hey, how's it going? Sasha.
It could explain how Robinson ran software development at the industrial design firm
That
Moto
was my big change.
and oversaw product development for the Flip HD camcorder, or how Williams comes from Apple, where he managed a Mac OS design team. But it's easier to just say that these are a couple of really smart guys.
More rare, taking our time to get to where we're going and enjoying the way there, right?
Both Williams and Robinson are somewhat legends in the modern vaporizer world. When they introduced the Firefly, it was an immediate game changer. So my obvious first question was, where did all of this begin?
Burning Man.
Burning Man is an annual event and a year-round culture that takes place in Nevada's Black Rock Desert, wherein attendees, or participants, dedicate themselves to the spirit of community, art, self-expression, and self-reliance. As simple as this may seem, trying to explain what Burning Man is to someone who has never been to the event is a bit like trying to explain what a particular color looks like to someone who is blind. After all this build-up, it was finally time to see the birthplace of the Firefly. Time to see the lab.
Where we designed and built the Firefly. We started with butane as a power source because butane has higher energy density than batteries. Not making people wait was a value right from the start because neither one of us wants to wait. We don't want to have to wait for technology to do its thing.
That's the great thing about smoking is that it's immediate, right? And you have that right there, and it's always available to you.
Anything else that's slower is going to suffer in comparison. So we started with butane.
This one actually still works. Actually, it's this one here. And so one of the things we really wanted from the beginning was actually to be able to see into the device and sort of see how it's working. So with this one, you can see there's still a flame actually still lights, first time. And we got it to work actually pretty well. This one, it delivers great vapor for sure.
It's amazing.
And you can see kind of the early lid. So this was magnetic, kind of attached. There was a thermostat basically here that sort of showed the temperature as it was increasing, and then the bowl chamber there, and then we had a magnetic mouthpiece here as well. So a lot of the original design elements ended up making their way all the way through. And this was where we took the big jump actually from butane to electricals. This was actually our first electric prototype right here.
Works great.
Works great.
Not very productizable, but works great.
And this was actually the first real pivot for us, and it was actually it was tough because we were developing this and we were getting this actually pretty good. But it was still a little rough around the edges. I mean, in terms of butane, it's just hard to actually control, especially the ignition stuff to get that 100%. If you don't get it right, you end up with this buildup of butane, and then it kind of does this like dragon kind of poof kind of thing, which was not what we wanted for users. And we were really along that road, and then there was a discussion point where I was like, well, okay, I really think actually we can do it with electric, and if we can do that, then we can actually bring it back to our strength, which is more technology and electronics and those kinds of things. And then so just working on this prototype and actually getting this prototype out was the first time we were like, oh, okay, this really does work. And it does work with electric. We do have the energy density that we need out of a battery. And we'd spent about a year actually really developing the butane. So it was a big moment for us to just say, okay, this is a better, cleaner experience was really in the end what the decision was about.
Just jumping back, when you guys were first talking to product design guys, going back and forth, what was the aha, let's do a vaporizer? What was that moment? Do you remember it?
Well, we both enjoyed social smoking with each other, and we're both over 40, and it got to the point where we kind of were sitting around in my living room one day, and we're like, this is fun, but this kind of doesn't feel so good.
It's like,
and exactly, and so we were like, well, what else is out there? We still want to enjoy what we enjoy. What is out there? We had a friend who had a volcano, which we're like, wow, this feels a lot better, tastes great, seems to work well. Totally not compatible with any sort of lifestyle
Right. I mean,
we
we're
wanna
going to
have.
keep that. Am I going to keep that out? No.
Yeah.
Am I going to? It's going to go in my closet at best. And then am I ever going to break this thing out? I mean, it's like.
And then you're a guy with the thing in the
Yeah,
closet,
exactly,
and you don't
right.
want something.
Yeah. Just didn't want to.
You don't want that. This was the sort of the first, I'd say, modern Firefly, where it basically had a similar heating coil architecture to what we have now. Battery underneath, you press a button and it works, and you can see the light from the heating element shining through the top there. Once again, basically leveraging a pipe analogy, right? People understand this centering of energy and this concentration of energy around the heat, and we wanted to bring that into the vaporizer design language to communicate that this is what this thing is. It's not just a black box that could be a remote control or anything. It's got something that's analogous to what the experience has been for many people leading up to now. So this is really sort of our first, I'd say, modern Firefly. And then once we settled on some battery sizes and had a general idea of our component sizes, I carved this out of a piece of foam to represent sort of what I wanted it to feel like in the hand. We went through many different foam models. These are just a few of them. But this is the one that kind of wound up being what we thought, okay, if we could produce this, then this is something that we want. And importantly, back to the butane thing, not being afraid to scrap what you got and start over, because you're never scrapping your knowledge. That's funny. I'm like, hey, you're never scrapping your knowledge. You're never scrapping your knowledge, which is the important thing. You might scrap the little iteration of it in the world at that one time, but that's no big deal because you can always start over fairly easily. Sure. And so just becoming comfortable with that has been an important part of the process. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, learn by doing.
Yeah,
basically
absolutely.
learn by doing. In terms of building one soup to nuts, you and I have still built the most of anyone.
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
Which
the
is
thing,
fun,
it's
by the way.
You take it apart. And
sometimes maddening.
Yeah,
But then you're like, okay, well, let's make this less maddening and change this.
Yeah.
Hey, can you just talk about the idea of convection and
Love to.
because you guys are
Thank you.
That is
Yes.
what changes the
Thank you for
It's
asking.
a big
Oh, you're welcome.
differentiator for
Huge.
sure for us, and something that we actually worked really hard to maintain. It would have been really easy for us to actually go the conduction route.
Yeah.
That was what the existing electrics did at that time, and
Yeah.
we didn't like the flavor of it really, and the slowness of it.
Yeah.
So the convection, and that's why we really like the volcano. We love that quality of vapor that comes out of that.
Can you explain what that is to people that don't have
Sure.
an idea?
Convection is heating with hot air. So basically, you're transferring heat through air, which is holding that heat, and then passing through the material, which then extracts the desirable flavors and active ingredients, and then it goes back to then you inhale it. And this is what the volcano. The thing that we took away from the volcano experience early on was that wow, this convection delivers great flavor.
Into it. I was never a smoker, so I never smoked cigarettes. But now I actually vaporize the tobacco because I actually really enjoy that flavor without feeling it in the lungs. So, and it's really been the pipe tobacco that's really got me into that. So it's a very interesting, very different experience.
So thank you for asking about convection because
it's a really important difference
It's
for
so
us.
hard to communicate that and in fact we're still working on it on our website and all our marketing materials, communicating that in a way that's concise.
In like 3 bullet points.
In 3 bullet points, so that somebody who's
And so we're really trying to find ourselves, create a company that invests more money and more time and more effort in unique solutions to the highest flavor, highest experience. So it's really, in this case, a luxury good at this point, but a high-end product. I mean, we're looking to actually deliver the best experience.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be the cheapest. It's not going to necessarily be the smallest. It's going to be what we think is the best user experience and deliver the best vapor that we can possibly deliver in the package. And there's going to be people that need a lower price point and want something that's actually fits their budget better.
True.
And that's always going to exist. And there's actually some good products out there for that. I mean, there's actually one now called the Magic Flight, which we really like a lot. It's a simple wooden box, a simple battery, super straightforward. And these guys have a really great philosophy about product design that I really appreciate. And it's a great product. It's just a completely different product than what we're making, and it's a different space. And the space is expanding, which allows room. Because we don't compete with them. Right. I mean,
Right.
they're at a completely different place. It's a completely different
Right.
product for a different kind of user.
different price point, different user, and so it's easy to.
And it's great. It's actually great to have people in the marketplace. You're like, yeah, we're rooting for them. It's, we want them to be successful.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Plus, they seem like nice people.
They really are.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Wired magazine, Matt Honan said, "This is a vaporizer you can be proud of." That was one of the nicest things. Thank you, Matt. That was super nice of him to say because that actually was totally our intention. It's something that you could have out that you're not ashamed of.
Now it's time to see the Firefly in action. Mark and Sasha give me a rare live demo of their invention, the
So
Firefly.
just loading Loading my personal favorite, Captain Black Royal. Very delicious.
Big fan of the Pawn Strike.
And it's very easy to load. Just turn it on. By the way, it's on, but it's not heating now. You can feel it's not hot or anything. So the computer's on, but it's not heating until I press this button. So one of the things that you can expect from us in 2015, perhaps sooner, is more personalization. We've got these different lids, we've got different battery doors, and
you can see these are both mismatched colors.
These are both mismatched colors, and we
just like to do unique combinations of the colors too.
And you can imagine this can be taken a lot farther. So basically, I press this button, and I press it for a few seconds. I like to give it about 5 seconds before I inhale, and then I inhale slowly for about 10.
The smell doesn't stink. It's actually really nice. It's got a nice aroma. And so, it really avoids all of the really negative aspects of the tobacco smoking. It doesn't make your breath stink. It doesn't make your clothes stink. And you get to really just experience the flavor.
And you don't have to light up a whole cigarette and smoke a whole cigarette. That's another difference in conduction and convection. With conduction, you load the material in the chamber, and you turn it on, and you're kind of committing to that bowl.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because you loaded the whole thing, and you've taken a minute or whatever it is, and you've gotten it hot, so you might as well smoke it. And that's not the way that Sasha or I like to enjoy our material. I like to enjoy my material like a puff at a time. So sometimes I'll take 1 puff, sometimes 3, very rarely 10.
This isn't actually done, but you can see when you actually turn it on and you have the glow going, this doesn't actually get hot. You can keep your finger there. It gets warm. You can see it gets a little bit warm, but for the most part, it's really the hot air that's heating coming out of there.
And the subtlety of that is when you're using it. Let's say a common thing that you do when you're enjoying some material is you tap it out. Sometimes you have to use a little finger to tap it out, but you don't want to burn yourself. It's just super easy.
This is one of the only devices that's been designed to be cleaned as well.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
You can see here, everything that needs to be cleaned is right here on the lid.
Right.
And just the whole vapor path just opens up. So you wipe off here and you wipe off here. This you can put under the faucet.
Yeah.
Put that in the dishwasher.
Or blow it.
Yeah. And again, for us, we use this product. I mean, this is a product for our lives, and we don't want to have to clean it in some sort of convoluted way. We want to actually design it so that it's easy.
Yeah.
Because we do that. We do it every day.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Ain't nobody got time for extended cleaning.
Yeah. Exactly. You wanted to stick going.
So that was a lot. Thank you for letting us do that last little. No, thanks for asking about that. Because which you're like, you just don't get the